Hello, everybody. I think I'm live now. I don't know. Hopefully, it's working because I'm using my phone. That's why I'm not using my green screen. There's my green screen, so I'm not using it now. Uh, so I need to get a new laptop. The old one went with the old job, which is fine with me. So I definitely need to go get a new laptop soon. So that's on my list. And I'll go back to using the green screen. Hey, Bat Falcon. Hey, Patty. Bible group. You said you're a new sub. I've seen you before somewhere. Where have I seen you? Bible group. Uh, Thanks for tuning in. I know I've seen your logo, of course, somewhere. So I think you've been around before. Ned, are you still on? Hopefully the comments are working. So I just watched most of your interview, Ned, with Richard. It's really good. And I was going to ask you because Richard started referring to Donald Falk as Donald Fook. And is that the right pronunciation? Is it Fook or Falk? Because I've always said Falk. But I noticed in your interview with Richard Ned that he started saying Donald Fook, and then somewhere I think I went back once, so maybe I screwed up. But it seemed like at some point he went back to using Falk, so I'm not sure about that. So is it Donald Fook or is it Donald Falk? Richard, if you're watching, please clear that up because I like to get pronunciations right. So I've never heard that before. If it was Donald Fook and not Falk, but. Uh, I don't know. Just thought that was interesting. And over on, we called him Mr. Allen. Of course, that's the Seawaters channel. And I've had a few discussions with them. I like the Seawaters. And Dave Seawater did one of his videos about Arthur Lee Allen, and he used a song that he wrote and performed called Stranger. And I said this at the time that he put that song on there. And I think he says he wrote it about Arthur Lee Allen, which is perfect. And he did a whole video of just that song Stranger that he wrote and performs, and that's a great song. So if you haven't heard the song yet, go over to We Called Him Mr. Allen and listen to that song Stranger by Dave Seawater. That's a really good song, and I said it at the time, so I guess he heard that from a lot of people. That's why he did a full upload to their channel with just highlighting that song that he wrote called Stranger. And I mean, it's a great song. And then when you think of Arthur Lee Allen with it, it's perfect. Of course, I'd like to play with the lyrics a little bit, like it's called Stranger, Strangers, of course, and it's really good, but I'd rewrite it something like, when Arthur Lee Allen's at night and he tells the kids to get off his lawn, but wait, please come lick my stamps. And I know you think I'm strange because I'm a stranger. I don't know, something like that. But it's a good song. I don't know, it's corny, but no, really, it's a great song. Go check it out over on We Called Him Mr. Allen, and the song called Stranger. It's the last upload by the Seawaters on that channel, so it's great. I'm cutting out every 8 seconds. Shoot, is it still doing it? See, I can't even comment on here. Is it still cutting out? Let me try something. Because it would be a damn shame if that song I just sang cut out. Stranger, stranger. So you're not cutting out? JD says he's good. Um, okay, said it's better now. I hope that song didn't go out. That was just gold. How do you beat that? So anyway, I don't know if you're still on, Ned, but somebody figure that out. Is it Fook or is it Falk? Because that's important. Hey, Steve. And I know you're going to say I look tired, Steve, and I am tired. You're good, Ned? So, Ned, is it Fook or Falk? You're going to have to clear that up. Because I swear Richard was saying Donald Fook, and that's driving me crazy. Okay, Falcons is not cutting out here. But that was a good interview, Ned, with Richard. I agree with a lot of what Richard says. Um, I don't know where he is on the whole Don Chaney thing, but I like asking him questions and not going in hard on it. He said, yeah, Richard said Fook, and you always said Falk. I always said Falk too. If you read the way that he spells that name, it should be pronounced Falk. So I'm going to be the last guy to ever question Richard Grinnell on something, but he's definitely saying Fook. So maybe he talked to a family member or something. That's the only way to really definitively know if you've ever heard the person pronounce their last name. It's kind of like you said, Ned, with the Squiggy Frome, and people always say Squiggy Frome, and she actually pronounced it Frome. So I never forget about that. Um, Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. And I am tired, man. That's funny. Um, yeah, so Fuka Frome. And another one, Ned, that I saw before, and I'm not even sure, and this is something Richard would know or you, and it would just like for Zodiac stuff, you really look like you're on top of your game. But the oldest of the three Robbins kids who saw Paul Stein through the window is Lindsay Robbins is the name, and that was actually a male, not a female. When I hear the name, I work with somebody who has a daughter named Lindsay. It's a female, but I believe Lindsay Robbins is a male. And not a female. And it just to know that just makes you seem really smart when you're talking about all things Zodiac. But I believe Lindsay Robbins was actually a male, not a female. Um, the oldest of the Robbins kids, who had probably the most input on. Ned says yes, the most input on the Paul Stein, um, with the Paul Stein murder, and did the Zodiac composite. He is a male. Okay. I only saw that when I saw Quester Files. I always just thought it was a female because of Lindsay, but okay, Ned said it is a male, so that's good to know. You're on it with all things Zodiac. So speaking of Zodiac, one thing I'm going to talk about tonight and do some more follow up because I'm working with my editor on this, who co-credit with the Paul Avery Bakersfield Junior College find. Because when I found that, I was like, "Whoa, this can't be true. How does Paul Avery in Bakersfield Junior College? This is stunning." And then my editor followed up, and said, "Yeah, it's him. I found a photo. It's definitely the real Paul Avery of Zodiac Killer fame is at Bakersfield Junior College," which was stunning. But another thing that I picked up on, and another guy at Reddit just seemed to pick up on this thing as well, that I'm going to be talking about. And it's a book by Agatha Christie called The ABC Murders. And where that book comes up is none other than Don Chaney mentions that book in the absolute gold of a film called His Name Was Arthur Lee Allen. And Chaney brings this up. I can't remember what point in the video, but you'll see it where he makes this clip. And he said that it came to him later after he read this book called The ABC Murders that he saw Arthur Lee Allen's modus operandi in that book, where he says you do a contract kill and you surround it by some random murders, so the police can't figure out which your real targeted murder was. And I don't know if the book, we're still trying to figure it out. Editors reading it and going through it to see how much of the Zodiac is in the Agatha Christie book, The ABC Murders. But Chaney brings this book up, and his name was Arthur Lee Allen, and he says Arthur Lee Allen never even said the name of the book. But it's Chaney winds up reading. He calls it the little book later, where he sees this modus operandi. So he's telling you what influenced him, which means, in my belief, what influenced the Zodiac Killer in the first initial framework of these crimes was the Agatha Christie book, The ABC Murders. And if you just Google serial killer and cryptic letters, two things come up separately, not tied together, but separately. You get the Zodiac Killer crimes because, of course, the Zodiac wrote cryptic letters, cryptograms, and taunting letters. And then you get the fictional book by Agatha Christie called The ABC Murders. Could have influenced the Zodiac, you bet. And he's telling you it did. When Chaney brings that book up, and his name was Arthur Lee Allen, he's telling you the framework of it. And when you dig into that book, you find things like in the ABC Murders, there is a character that is a flirty waitress. Can we say Darlene Ferrin? Anyone who dated other people? I don't think if she was married, she might have been engaged, but still filtering through all this. But there is a flirty waitress in the ABC Murders by Agatha Christie, which is, of course, fiction. There's a character in there named Dawn. There's different weapons used. There's just a lot of framework. And, of course, like I said, they write these, the killer in there, he calls himself the ABC murderer. Because the victims' names start in alphabetical order. The one would start with an A and then a B. That's where he starts calling himself the ABC murderer. And that's how he got his name. It's kind of like the Zodiac naming himself the Zodiac. Well, that's what the ABC murder did. And he writes these taunting letters to the ex-detective who goes by Poirot. And I know that ABC Murders was remade into a film. I know John Malkovich was in a not too old a version where he's playing the detective Poirot. And he's the one receiving these letters by the ABC murderer, and ABC murderers sending these taunting letters saying, "I'm going to kill this person in this town. on this date, and kind of giving some clues to where he's going to be to try to catch him. So there is a lot of framework in that book that could have inspired the Zodiac. And who brings the book up? Don Chaney does, and his name was Arthur Lee Allen. Of course, it's under the guise of Arthur Lee Allen. Arthur Lee Allen is just a vehicle for him to brag about the framework he created. And he doesn't want to attribute all of it to Arthur Lee Allen, just enough to stay involved in the case, but doesn't want to give it all away to Arthur Lee Allen because Arthur Lee Allen didn't create it. He was part of it, but he didn't create it. He wasn't the mastermind that created this huge game puzzle piece. So he's basically telling you, he's admitting the ABC murders were what influenced me. That was the start. I mean, you can watch things like Alfred Hitchcock's museum piece. It's hard to watch that and believe the Zodiac Killer didn't see that, because it has two skeletons. It's talking about it has a gun with a light on it. Most likely the Zodiac saw that. Possibly saw The Mask of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe. But the ABC murders, I am all in on this. People can dispute it or whatever. This is fine with me and my editor, not from somebody else. I believe that was the original framework for the Zodiac Killer, was that book by Agatha Christie written in 1936. And there's just too much in that book that shadows Zodiac. Now, I don't know if Darlene Ferrin was selected or anything, or that there's a tie in there, there was anything, or a real paid contract. I don't think so. I think it was just a loose framework of a serial killer, and that term didn't even exist in 1936 when that was written. I think they call him a spree killer or something like that. The term serial killer didn't exist in 1936, but that Agatha Christie book has a lot in it that would foreshadow the Zodiac Killer. A killer naming himself, the ABC, different weapons used, taunting letters to the detective, and of course Zodiac wrote them to newspapers, and Paul Avery, and of course, and Dave Toschi. But in the book, it's all to this Detective Poirot. But there's just a lot in there. There's a lot in there that would point you towards the Zodiac, and I'm going to go through it. I'm going to do another episode on it, but I am a big believer that was the original framework for the Zodiac Killer, because Don said so. He tells you that. He even says that Arthur Lee Allen never told him the name of the book. He figured it out on his own. If you go listen to his name was Arthur Lee Allen, watch when Don Chaney brings up the book, the ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. And then, oddly enough, I was looking for something on Reddit, and a guy had mentioned this as well on Reddit, who saw it 2 or 3 weeks ago. Another guy had posted, who I do know, was talking about Chaney on Reddit and different things. And this guy brought it up. I can't remember what his name was. I have it saved, but I think the guy's in England or something, because his background was like an English soccer team. And he even pointed that out. So this isn't, I was thinking about it at the same time, which is weird, but he brought it up, and I've seen that before, but I never dug into it, because I should be more well read on this stuff. And thank God my editor that reads a lot of books, and said, yeah, I've read that. I'm going to read it again. This sounds a lot like the Zodiac Killer, with the taunting letters, with different weapons. And also in the ABC murders, he tries to pin it on somebody else. Sound like anybody we know? There's too much in the ABC murders to disregard. And when Chaney brings up the name of that book on his own, he's cluing you into what influenced him. I firmly believe it. I will debate it with anybody, anytime, anywhere. And I've only been in this case 3.5 years. 4 years ago, I could briefly tell you Zodiac was Northern California, wrote ciphers. I couldn't name a victim or anything like that. So this is not my life's mission. It's this case, and I don't want it to be. I've done 2 other books. I work a full-time job, so I'm not fully committed to it. But I'll tell you one thing: I'll never switch suspects. If I ever bring myself to wanting to switch suspects or dramatically change my theory, I'll just drop out. Okay. And it's not going to happen. I'm not one of these 30-year guys that have been doing this. Oh, and maybe it was this guy. Well, no. I'm going back to that guy. Not happening. Sorry. I'm over the target, and I know it. So I'll never back down. And that's why I love you guys. I love the subscribers, because I do have a platform to get these things out. But, when I presented the deal with the skeleton card or whatever, somebody else brought that to me. I think it's plausible. I don't know if the guy got the photos or not, but that's somebody else's. But could be. So when you have a channel, you want to put out new material, what people send you, and vet it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you take a little heat for it, so the hell what? I've got major discoveries in this case in just 3.5 years. Don Chaney and Paul Avery going to the same junior college in 1953. Are you kidding me? Paradise? That name is so rare, and I love staple gunning it to any critic of mine, which is for scant few. How rare that name was. That is a surname It's literally 1 out of 1 million back in the early 1970s. 1 out of 1 million, that surname with that spelling. And somebody that brought forward the lead suspect in Zodiac Killer crimes has a relative with that last name. That's not a coincidence. That's where the name comes from. And the Zodiac 340, of course, says the word paradise 3 times. I think the Zodiac really liked that word and the play on words. So he's telling you the Agatha Christie ABC murders is what influenced him. And then I thought about the fact that the cover for the Pines card, there goes my stupid light. The cover for the Pines card says what on it? ABC is a shout out, I believe now, to the ABC murders. And of course, it's the logo for the American Broadcasting Corporation or Company, sorry, American Broadcasting Company, ABC with the round ball. That is the cover of the Zodiac Pines card. I think it's a shout out to the ABC murders and what influenced them, that Agatha Christie book. So that needs to be completely just taken apart as a book and all the parallels to the Zodiac crimes. And I'm going to do more on this. Editor's vetting it out. So it's not just like think, oh, this could be it. I have smart people I work with, multi-degreed, smart people that look at this stuff and say, yeah, there's something here. So it's not just me trying to layer a suspect because, people can convince themselves of whatever they want. I'm just putting it out there. I believe this. I'll stand by it, and I'll vet it out. And it's not going anywhere because I think that is what the original source of what influenced the Zodiac was, that book, because he tells you that. It's always under the guise of Arthur Lee Allen. Well, I think this, but Arthur said that and this and that. He's basically saying, I created this. I created this game. I created this puzzle board. This is where these concepts come from. They come from me, but I have to tell you it's under the guise of him. So why would you do all this and not take credit for it? You want to get some credit for what you created. You have to insert yourself in there. You don't want to go to jail for the rest of your life, but you want to, in some ways, put out there what you did because it was a masterpiece. It was this huge thing, never got caught. All these concepts, ciphers, codes, radians, taunting letters, and you just don't do all that and not want to at least put yourself out there and say, this is where it comes from and see who picks up on it, because he's telling you that. It's ABC murders, Agatha Christie, heavy influence, way too much going on in that book not to have influenced the Zodiac. Arthur Allen never said the name of it, but he reads the book later, according to him, and figures it out that this was his modus operandi. And that's it. I mean, that's it. I really believe this. People should look at it. That clue was just sitting there to be looked at when he's talking about it. On his name was Arthur Leon. This isn't some adult old man who's losing his mind. This guy's in full control of his faculties. He's highly intelligent, smarter than anybody ever thought, and he's telling you what influenced him, and it was that Agatha Christie book. Look into it and check it out. Okay, Chris, Patty, thank you. Isn't Paradise, California one of the towns destroyed by fire last year? Yeah, I heard the fires were bad in Paradise. It's up there where the Yuba County 5 went missing. Chris, hey, Drew, I still think the Sacramento freeway killings were Zodiac. I don't know. I have to look into that. I kind of agree with Richard Grinnell on that. I think the Zodiac crimes are just the canonicals. I really do. I'm really leaning towards that. Outside of those, I think maybe Gaviota, but I really just think the Zodiac was the 4 canonical crimes. I'm pretty hardening up on that for sure. But I can't rule Gaviota out. There's just some good parallels there between Lake Berryessa. Ned, I agree. Yeah, thank you, Ned. Paradise is likely from Dawn. I agree. Yeah, because is a place name. It's even more rare than a surname, and as a surname, it's literally 1 out of 1 million. Literally 1 out of 1 million, and it's going to land on Don Cheney's maternal grandfather's first cousin, who was very wealthy. She was executrix for Colonel James Ingersoll's estate. Got a ton of money from it. Her husband was a well-known famous architect named Frank Paradise. You would have known about that relative. There's just no way you wouldn't. With her wealth and married to the architect, he's going to know. Ned, I also think the canonical crimes were Zodiac, but there is a chance the Freemaners were the Z, like an older, tired Zodiac. Could be. Honestly, I've not looked into the freeway murders that much. You should do an episode on that, Ned, but I'm definitely going to study it because Chris is talking about it too. But there's a thought that Ray Davis cab murder and Paul Stein cab murder were like an encore. Could be. I know you got Grinnell to talk about that too, Ned, about Ray Davis, but I think there was a phone call too in the Ray Davis case, which kind of makes it Zodiac like. There was a phone call after that murder where he took credit or said I killed a cabbie or something at Ray Davis. That was 62, right? Ray Davis. I know Ross has done a ton of work on Ray Davis. And Ross is supposed to come out with his Sherry Joe Bates film pretty soon. I'm really looking forward to that. Yes, ABC wrote taunting letters to Poirot. I know I'm saying that wrong. Poirot. Yeah, taunting letters, and it's just funny when you Google that. Google taunting letters and serial murders, and you get ABC murders and Zodiac, but not together. So yeah, I think that the Pines card cover saying ABC is a definite shout out to the ABC murders, and we would have not. I would have never thought about it if he did not say that, and his name was Arthur Lee Allen. You just can't beat it. He's telling you the blueprint because he was the Zodiac. I'm more convinced of it now than I was when I wrote that book. I really am, and I'm never going to back off of it. And I'll never switch suspects. Like I said, I will never back off of a suspect or my theory. At the point that I do that, I'll just shut it all down. I really will. Not going to do it. It's not going to happen. You get it right the first time or go home, and that's me. I'm all in on this. Jason, I've been watching the 60s Batman show on Tubi TV trying to pick out Zodiac influences too. Yeah, Dave Aranchik did a fantastic job with the Batman stuff. I mean, what a well-produced video. Man, that guy's multi-talented, really smart guy, multi-talented. I can't believe the production values in his YouTube videos are mind-blowing. So I can't wait till he puts out another video. They're just so good. Jason, you can watch that on Peacock. They also have a lot of Hitchcock movies. Yeah, Museum Piece. I think that I definitely watch Museum Piece. I think the only time it was ever mentioned a gun with a pin light on it for sight was that Alfred Hitchcock episode, Museum Piece, and there was a mechanics. What was that with the Mechanics magazine? It was a Mechanics Digest, whatever the name of the mechanical magazine was. I think they had an article on it too. So maybe a mechanical engineer would have read that. There's no doubt. There's a thought that the Ray Davis, yeah, like an encore. Let's see what else. Yeah, but I do. I believe we're still going through it, but I think that the Agatha Christie model is just too much to look away from, especially with the flirty waitress who worked at something like obviously Darlene Ferrin worked at the IHOP. This character in the ABC Murders worked at a breakfast style restaurant where it was, it's England in the 30s, so they didn't exactly have IHOPs, but it was a coffee casual place. It wasn't this stuffy kind of buttoned up restaurant. It was this kind of a breakfast coffee type croissant eggs place where this waitress worked, and she was flirty and dating different people. She's part of the story in the ABC Murders, different weapons, taunting letters. Just so much there for Don to bring that up, and it's just that's where you would have gotten this concept. Of course, serial killer and everything tied into that book. So yeah, I'm gonna dig into it really heavy. We're working on it, and we're gonna come out with more. So that's it for now. If everybody has not checked out yet the Yuba County 5 podcast, the first 2 episodes are out with the trailer, and they're fantastic. They're really good. I cannot wait till Wednesday because the third one's going to drop with more information. And I'm in it, but I don't know what else they found. They won't even tell me, but they have new information and 2 big theories that could help solve Yuba County 5, or 2 that they believe between 2 different theories they're going to present. That definitely one of them is pretty much what would have happened. So, and I don't know what those are, but those are going to come out, I think, in the 3rd or 4th episode. So hopefully that will be out on Wednesday. I think they'll probably drop 2 episodes on Wednesday, and I can't wait till that's done. And I'm going to have an interview with the Hewitt family from Yuba County 5, and I talked to them for a long time yesterday, which was fantastic. It's the first time I talked to these members of the Hewitt family. Jackie Hewitt's younger brother, super great people, and all the stuff that they told me about that case, because I'm really deep into that case as well, like the Zodiac, like DB Cooper. I love all 3 of these, and just getting to the bottom of it. So talking to more family members like that is fantastic. So I'm going to have them on for an interview really soon. The Hewitt family, um, of course, related to Jackie Hewitt, who was a member of the Yuba County Five, and all the theories that they have. So that's coming out. And shoot, what else? There was somebody else sent a message I was gonna bring up, but I can't remember. But I'm also working with somebody else on some new Zodiac stuff we're vetting out, and constellations. I'm working with Valerie, who was just on Paranormal Zone TV. If you haven't seen that, on the last episode of Paranormal Zone TV with Noreen, I wasn't on that show, but I set that show up, and she's a forensic astrologer, and that stuff is fascinating. How it all works. There's a definite science to it, and she's working on Zodiac and a few other things, and we're going to do a show on that on Paranormal Zone TV with all the birthdays and the planets and all this kind of stuff. And there's definite science to it. So she's already working on that, some stuff that I've given her to Valerie Evans, and that's going to be fantastic. So definitely tune into Paranormal Zone TV when we do that show in the future. And we're also going to do a DB Cooper show on there, and it's going to be with me and my buddy Darren Schaefer of the Cooper Vortex. So that's going to be really great. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about Ted Braden and everybody. I mean, it's going to be the case in general with Darren, and I'm sure Braden will come up. So why not? And all the other suspects. So that's coming up as well. And don't want to miss that. But I'm going to do another one on the ABC murders, because we're still vetting through that book and what else connects to Zodiac in there. And you just can't turn away from it. There's just too much in ABC murders. So definitely go back and watch. His name was Arthur Allen. Watch how Don Chaney brings that up. And he's telling you that's what influenced him and how he read it all under the guise of Arthur Lee Allen. It's just so simple to see what this guy's doing. You can't miss it. I'm locked into him, and definitely check it out. So thanks everybody for watching. There'll definitely be another episode out probably tomorrow night. We'll do a little bit more on the ABC murders, but definitely go check out that book and when he brings it up in that documentary. Thanks everybody.